the more I've worked with cats over the years, the more I've realized that actually they gravitate to certain colors and they use certain colors for their own health and well-being. So color therapy is a way to bring color into the home and to give your cats the choice and the option to manage their health and their energy.
Welcome to the Pet Care Report podcast by Pet Summits. Here's your natural cat healthcare host, Dr. Meghan Barrett.
Welcome back, everyone. We have a very special guest here today. We have Julie Anne Thorne, and she is a holistic cat therapist, empath, author, and certified behaviorist, and founded Naturally Cats nearly 15 years ago. She supports feline emotional well-being through a unique blend of energy activation, environmental enrichment, and emotional support. Her mission is to give cats a voice through education and guidance with the cat's family. Her new book, Cat Chakras, a complete guide to clearing, cleansing, and balancing your cat's core energy centers, is set to shift how people can help their cats thrive rather than simply survive. So welcome, Julie Anne. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here. Welcome. Hi, everyone.
Okay, so we today are going to be talking about introduction to color therapy and some practical ways to implement that with your cats, and then going over linking chakras and well-being. So let's get straight into it. So Julie Anne, color therapy is a fascinating concept that few pet owners might be familiar with. Can you just provide a brief overview of what color therapy is and how it's believed to influence emotions and energy in living beings, especially cats?
Oh, for sure. I could talk about this topic all day long, so happy to share with everybody. So color therapy is something that I've come into the last 12 months or so as I've worked more and more with the chakras with cats. So I'm a qualified Reiki practitioner with humans, and I also work with cats as well. And the more I've worked with cats over the years, the more I've realized that actually they gravitate to certain colors and they use certain colors for their own health and well-being. So color therapy is a way to bring color into the home and to give your cats the choice and the option to manage their health and their energy. So each of the cat's core energy centers, which are their chakras, are connected to a different color. So I'm going to work with the 7 main ones in the body, and each of those 7 chakras are connected to 7 different colors. So for example, like the root is red and the crown is purple. So that's like the bottom of the cat to the top of the cat. And those colors vibrate at different frequencies. So when you bring different colors into the home, you can give your cat the chance to work with different energies. I mean, and it's just like, it's that simple, but it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I noticed my cats that they like certain colors for sure. And it's funny because I feel like the colors that they love tend to match them. Like my brown cat loves a brown chair and my white cat loves being on the white bed. So it's very cool to see them gravitate to certain areas.
Yeah, that can be one of the reasons why if you've bought a new cat bed, if your cat doesn't go to use it, that can be one of the reasons, because they don't like the frequency, they don't like the color. So it's not just a question of it doesn't look nice to me. For cats, it doesn't feel nice. The energy that the color vibrates at, it doesn't feel good in their body, so they won't go and sit in it or they won't go and sit on it. So when you buy a new cat bed, think about not just the shape or the size of it, but also the color of it, because that can be really impactful. Like one of my boys, Leo, he won't go into a white bed, right? Which is interesting you said about your white cat. So Leo's a black cat and he loves red. So he's very ungrounded. So the root chakra, which is connected to the red color, that's to do with grounding and a cat feeling safe in its environment. Leo was previously feral, so he can be ungrounded. He can feel, unstable as much as he's got a happy home. So he likes to use red. So he goes onto a red blanket. He goes to one of the red beds that we've got. So it can be really interesting when you start to see your cats using different colors in their home, like they might go and sleep on a certain chair. You can start to understand, which energy center are they working with? Which chakra are they balancing? It can be really fascinating.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I'm definitely familiar with color therapy in people. Like I know they say red can be the color of passion and like hunger. And they say blue and green is a little more calming and grounding. So I think, there's those stereotypes that kind of surface level that people might be familiar with. But I think taking it that level deeper into what the actual vibrational frequency is and how that affects us energetically is really cool to start learning about.
Yeah. And like you said, Megan, like we are affected by color. You'll go to your wardrobe one day, you'll look at your wardrobe, you'll be like, oh, I'm going to wear this top. And it's not just the comfort, the shape, the cut, the fabric, it's the color. You think about marketing and when you go into the supermarket and if you want to, when it's a nice cool day or a gray day, like our mood, our frequency, our energy is impacted by color. And it's exactly the same for cats. So with color therapy, you can give your cat the option. If you wanted to lift your mood, you might go for a walk in the forest where it's green. You might go to the sea where it's, blue. So when you bring color into the home, you give your cat that choice. You give them the opportunity, particularly for indoor cats as well, but it's just as good for outdoor. You give them the opportunity to manage their emotions, to manage their mental health, their emotional health, and also to support their physical health. So it's really multifunctional when you start to bring it into the home and offer it to your cat. It's wonderful. I love it.
That is so cool. So for a cat owner interested in exploring color therapy for their feline friends, how can they start to introduce this therapy into their cat's environment in a practical and safe way?
Beautiful question. One of the simplest ways to do it is to get 7. Now I say 7 because I work with the 7 main chakras. There are some modalities and some practitioners that believe that cats have more. Neither is wrong or right, but I work with the 7 main ones, which are the crown, the sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. So for those 7 main chakras, I would use 7 colors. Okay. And they, if you look anywhere online or in my new book, Cat Chakras, as you so beautifully mentioned at the beginning, thank you for that. I've got all the information about which colors you need for those 7 chakras. And you can either get pieces of fabric. So go to a local fabric store, which is what I did for my 2 boys. I went in and I could touch and feel the fabric to make sure that it, was good quality. And I picked the kind of 7 primary colors that I wanted to support the chakras. And I've got them around the house. So we've got 3 colors on the spare bed. Let me see, 3 on the spare bed. We've got 2 on the sofa because it's me and the 2 cats at home. So we've got color everywhere. So that means that's 5. I've got 1 on my bed and we've got 1 in the dining room. So they've got all of the 7 just pieces of fabric around the house so they can sleep on them if they want to. However, I appreciate that not everybody may want to go and invest in buying pieces of fabric. So one of the really simple ways that you can do it, go and get colored paper. It doesn't have to be fabric. It can be colored paper. It can be your wardrobe. Pop to your wardrobe, have a look and see what color. My
cats are always sleeping on my laundry anyway. So
there we go. See, you should see what color that is next time you notice them.
I know. I will definitely pay attention.
So, you can go to your wardrobe and it can be socks, it can be t-shirts, right? It doesn't have to be pieces of fabric. If you're just starting out and you don't want to spend money on it, totally get that. So have a look and see what you've got around the house. And make sure it's things that your cat can, like you said, snuggle on, sit next to, sit with, and offer it to them. And the way that you do that is put it down, not near their food bowls, not near their litter trays, because color, as you said, has a frequency, and we don't want to change the frequency of a cat's environment, where they would have their essential resources. So spare room, bedroom, hallway, dining room, pop different bits of color around the house. And I would love people to get in touch and share, if they do it, what they see, because you will notice that your cat will go. It may not be to all 7. It may just be to 1 or 2, but you will notice that your cat will use that fabric. And by use it, I mean, they will sit with it. They will sit on it. They may snuggle up in it. They will show you that they're using that color.
That is so cool. So are there specific colors or methods that are beneficial for different emotional states that we would want to allow our cats to explore?
Yes, definitely. So all of that is in the book. So in the Cat Chakra book, I've put it into 2 parts. The first part is about what is energy? How do cats feel it, sense it? How can we work with it with them? And the second part is all about the 7 chakras. So it's literally chakra by chakra, the color, the frequency, behavior, emotions, how they can impact cats. But yes, so you've got red for the root, orange for the sacral chakra, yellow for the solar plexus, which is around the tummy. Then you come up to the heart, which is green or sometimes pink. But with cats, humans, I generally find will use pink for their heart chakra. But with cats, they use a lot of green. Then it's up to the throat, which is blue. And then indigo, or kind of like a light purple color for the third eye. And then the crown is usually white or violet, sorry. So those are the 7 colors. And it doesn't matter what shade you have. So if you had, for example, like the solar plexus, you might have like a bright yellow post-it color, or you might have a golden yellow. Yes, they will have different frequencies, but if your cat needs support for their solar plexus, which is where they keep all their emotions, then if you put a goldy color down and they need support, they'll go to it, So if you're just starting out, don't worry too much about the shade or the color. But with cats, particularly like anxious cats, so I deal a lot with people that come to me when they've got behavior problems with their cats. So generally cats are anxious or aggressive. Okay. And for those 2 types of cats, yes, it does depend on what is the root cause. So which emotion is behind the anxiety or the aggression. However, I generally find with cats, if you don't get any other colors, the 3 colors to get would be red, because it helps to ground them. It would be green to support their heart chakra. And it actually would be probably a white or a violet, like a real beautiful dark purple to support their crown, because those are the 3 chakras that I generally find cats can be very imbalanced with, and their emotion, their key emotions, for example, like safety and love and connection are amongst those three chakras in particular.
That's so cool. I can't wait to check out your book and start exploring this with my own cats. So, what are the benefits to balancing the cat chakras for people who don't know about that? Like, what is the overall benefit to getting the chakras balanced in an individual?
Yeah, so it's about helping them to feel to have a great state of health and well-being. So, like for us humans, when you go and have a massage, or you have a spa treatment, or you have a day off, whatever it may be, you have some downtime, you rest and recharge, don't you? You relax and you feel like you can deal with the next load of emails or deal with a family event or whatever it may be. It's the same with cats. So when you give them the opportunity to balance their core energy centers, they can cope better. So for example, they can cope with more change in their environment, or they can cope with stresses in their environment, like in a multi-cat home. So particularly for like multi-cat homes, color therapy is wonderful, because you give all the cats who have all got different needs, they're all individuals, you give them the opportunity to do whatever it is that they need to support their mental and emotional health in that multi-cat home. Even if they get on well, even if they cuddle and sleep together, there will still be times in a multi-cat home where they need support. They need energetic support to give them that emotional stability and that kind of mental balance.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of in acupuncture, where we're trying to get the chi and the energy to flow well throughout the whole body. It's kind of like a highway system of energy, and we don't want there to get traffic jams at different points in the body. And so I think in the holistic practices, we're always trying to, number one, find balance, and also allow energy to be flowing well throughout the whole body. So it's interesting. The chakra system is another way of looking at energy within the body and just making sure that everything's balanced, everything's flowing, so that basically you can be in harmony within yourself and thriving.
Absolutely. You've described it beautifully. That is spot on. That is the same for cats, which we're not, we're kind of waking up to. Cats have been misrepresented for a while. They're not small dogs. They are a species of themselves, and they have needs like we do. It's not just about looking at their environment, which, yes, we are getting better at providing for them, but they have these energetic needs, and not everybody knows how to manage and work with energy. Not everybody wants to do Reiki qualifications or some other form of training, and that's absolutely fine, which is why I wrote the book, because people come to me for treatments to work with their cats, and I love doing cat chakra cleanses. I love working with cats and clients. However, I wanted people to be able to support their cat themselves. I wanted them to have the tools to offer color, to offer energetic support to their cats. Because something else to think of is, what color food bowls are you using? What color collars does your cat have on? What color litter tray do you have? All of these things, the colors in the cat's environment will impact their energy. So if you give your cat food, for example, on a red plate, that's going to change the frequency of the food, and it may or may not work for the cat. So if you're trying a new food on a different colored plate, maybe that's impacting things. So like you said, the energy flow is so crucial. And with cats, a lot of the focus is on problem behaviors and their behavioral responses, when actually those behavioral responses come from an emotional need. And with energy and with color, you can support those emotional needs. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like a big circle. You can bring everything together if you give the cat the opportunity to manage their health and well-being by simply bringing in, 7 pieces of colored paper. It is that simple, but it is super powerful.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think it's an interesting modality too, for especially the indoor cats who they live their lives indoors, and their world is fairly small. So we have to be creative with how we're providing enrichment so that they have a full life, even though they're living inside of a house. And this is a really nice way to just kind of literally brighten up their world and give them a variety of different things to expose themselves to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. Indoor cats particularly, they need that extra level of engagement, enrichment, connection. They've still got energetic need. Cats produce energy as we do, with their digestion, with their body, with their, the functions of their body. So when they are an indoor cat, how can you support them with their energy release, with their energy movement? And color is a beautiful way to do that. I would imagine some people listening, you'll have cats that have got a favorite toy. Notice the color of the toy. It's not just the shape of it, it's not just the style of it, it's the color as well, which will also impact it. So cats see in a limited, the color range that they have in terms of their view, their eyesight is different to humans. They don't see as many colors as we do. However, it's not necessarily just the sight of the color that is impactful for them, it's the frequency. They can feel it. So I've had a client of mine, I did a chakra cleanse with her, and she was a blind cat. It's a fascinating treatment. I used a deck of color cards when I was working with her, and she chose cards to share with her guardian how her energy felt. So she didn't see the cards, it was a static picture. I was working with her on the screen. And when I showed and talked with her guardian about them, she the resonance in terms of the treatment, she said was just astounding. She couldn't believe that her cat had managed to tell her that. And with one of I think it was her root or maybe her sacral, the cat picked a black card, and her guardian said, wow, that's fascinating. Every time I stroke her down towards that end of her back, she moves and she winces and she's in pain. I was like, wow, isn't that fascinating? So it's not just about what cats can see, it's also about what they feel, and it's a wonderful modality.
That's so interesting. Yeah, it's cool that it's not just the color with the chakras, it's also the anatomic location in terms of if they have they don't want you to touch them near their tail, for example, or near their neck or head, then that might key you into what area is having an issue.
Oh, definitely. And the physical body, when you've got an issue in the cat's physical body, that's because there's been an energy blockage for a while. It's manifesting as a physical problem, but it's due to an energy imbalance or an energy blockage. So again, I've just worked with a client at the end of last week. She kept flicking and twitching her head and itching at her ear. And I said to her guardian before we did the cleanse that I think there's something to do with her third eye or her throat, because if you think about with the positioning of them. And when I worked with her, she had a blocked third eye chakra. So when we cleared it, I'm due to speak to the guardian on Tuesday. I'm hopeful over this weekend, the cat will have stopped, the flicking and the twitching. So for me, it is such an interesting space to start to investigate when you look at the physical body. And sometimes we can get too focused on that, looking at the illness, the symptom, the medical conventional treatment. And don't get me wrong, there is always a space for that. It's that holistic picture. It's what medication and other treatments or other modalities or what else can we do? And, I've got 2 boys. and I work really closely with my vet. But what I do the best I can at home to support them in other ways. One of my boys is asthmatic, and we look at so many different treatment options to support him with that. And color, that's why we have it in our house, to give him that extra support. There are times when we need medication for him, and I'm not what's the word, alternative. I'm complementary practitioner, so my work works alongside and in tandem with the kind of allopathic treatment. And I think that's one of the great things about color, is that if you've got a cat with a physical problem, yes, you can be looking at medication and treatments, but you can also bring in color support as well to help to balance that energy and to help to almost shift the problem potentially a bit quicker.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. There's been so many times where, we're treating a cat and we get to the end of the road in terms of Western medical options. We might try some holistic options, but this is a really nice way to just introduce something else that's really gentle and supportive for the cat, so that you can do that self-selection where you offer the different colors and see what they seem attracted to, and it doesn't sound like it could be harmful in any way.
No, so that's the great thing. And I work with botanical remedies with self-selection, with colour with self-selection. So my mission is all about giving cats a voice. And that is about giving them a choice, the opportunity to choose which toy do you want to play with, which colour do you want to work with, which dried herb, which essential oil, whatever it may be. And if you use these modalities that way, as in you put the colours down and you let your cat choose, there is no harm at all. No harm, because you're not forcing it on your cat, so and there is no adverse effect because you're letting them do what they need to do, so it's a great way for people to explore. I mean, I would love to hear from people, anybody listening to this, if you put colors down for your cat and they go and sit on them, let us know, get in touch, because it's wonderful to hear that it's a really simple way that people can support their cat. So you can try it. You can even try it with like colored pants or, like I said, colored socks. It doesn't have to be fancy things. Just look at the color you've got around your house and try it. See, your cat will show you. I'm a firm believer that when we ask our cats, when we pay attention, when we tune in and connect with them, they will show us what they need. They will tell us what they need. So if you're open to receiving it from them, they'll show you. Yeah,
very cool. So I can't wait to check out your book, like I said. Is there anything else from it that you'd want to share about while we're chatting today?
Oh, wow.
I'm sure it's full of info.
It is. That's I'm like, right, which chapter, which bit, which should I mention? One of the bits to say in there is that the book is, like I said, I'm qualified in Reiki and animal healing, but I was very clear with the help of my copy editor when I wrote the book to ensure that anybody can use it. So it's not just for people that have got any form of energy qualifications. If you're completely new to energy work, I've got you covered. I made sure that the book was like a how-to. So I talk about how to sense and feel energy. For anybody that's never even understood what energy was in terms of, working with your cat, I've got exercises in there to explain to you, how to start, feeling it and sensing it in your hands. I've got a breathing exercise in there to help you get grounded and centered. It talks about how to hold a chakra clearing session with your cat. It's a step-by-step guide. Then like I said, there's the breakdown of the 7 main chakras, how to use energy. I've tried to put my kind of like 15 plus years into the book, and, particularly with like the color side of it as well. The first book that I did, which was The Aromatic Cat, which is about herbs, hydrosols and essential oils with cats. I was so desperate to put some of the chakra stuff in there, and we tried really hard to keep it contained to botanical remedies. So this book has got mantras, like I said, breathing exercises. It's got so much more. So it's really an opportunity for anybody who's curious to work with your cat, curious to understand energy, give it a go. Pick up a copy and have a look, because I'm hopeful that it is really aimed at anybody who wants to work with their cat. That's how I wrote it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm sure it's such a great resource. And I know how much work it is to write a book and just pour everything you have into it. And it's really amazing when people read it and they're like, wow, there's so much information in here. And I can't wait to check it out and recommend it to people that I know too.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a labor of love, I have to say. There were many a times when I was going to give up, and then Leo or baby Max would do something, cute or funny, and I'm like, no, I've got to keep going. I've just got to keep going. It has to come to birth.
Yeah, I know. Do it for the cats.
Yeah.
So we're coming closer to the end. Do you have like one big tip that you would recommend that cat guardians would go away with today and implement besides anything else we've talked about?
There would probably be two things. I know you did one, but probably
that's
two.
Okay.
The first would be start to see the color in your cat's world. Notice the colors of their beds, notice the color of their collar, notice the color of their bowls. Just notice what color is in your cat's world. That's the first thing. And then the second thing would be to try it, to look in your wardrobe, see what colors you've got, put them on the bed and just see what your cat does, and if you're curious to understand why it's on the purple t-shirt or why it's on the the yellow scarf, get a copy of the book and I've got you covered as to why that is.
That's so cool. Yeah, I can't wait to learn more. Okay, well, thank you for your time. Where can our guests learn more and find your book and everything like that?
So you can find me, my website is Naturally Cats, www.naturallycats.co.uk, and I'm on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. And the book is available from my website, so you can get a signed copy from me. But you can also get it from Amazon and from other online retailers as well. So if anybody, because I'm in the UK, I do ship to a couple of countries, but not everywhere all over the world. So thanks to, places like Amazon and Waterstones, things like that, you can get a copy online as well. So be sure to find me there.
Okay, great. And yeah, we'll link everything, all of her websites to the bottom of the episode, depending on whatever platform you're listening on. So yeah, thank you again for your time. For everyone listening, just please don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave reviews. If you found this interview interesting, this will help us to reach more cat owners who might also benefit from this information. So thank you, Julie Anne. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you and learning from you today.
Thank you for having me, Meghan. It's been great. And if you want to talk about cats again, I'm more than happy to come back because I could literally talk about cats all day long. And thank you to everybody that's been listening as well. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, you and me both.